Let this be for the best and highest good of all. And we are live. What's good, Fire Family? It's Mr. Meyer with the Fire here to take the collective vibe higher. And it's YouTube tarot and transits for the week. We're going to see how this goes. This is actually like the second episode or rendition of this. And you get a replay from YouTube. So I think I'm just going to jump right into it. It's going to be great. It's Scorpio season, Samhain from a couple different perspectives, and a full moon this week. I'm going to take it sign by sign. I hope you guys are well. My tarot cards got a little break over the holiday. I see the chat rolling in. Beautiful. I love to see it. I see Chevy. I see Nadi. I see Maya. Welcome, Fire Family. Let's get to it. It makes me think, or makes me wonder, if I had spent so much attention on YouTube, the same amount of time and effort I put on TikTok, this platform would be probably a lot bigger. We're about to hit 5,000 on YouTube, which is just crazy to me. So I'm super jazzed about that. We're going to have an amazing week. How does that sound, guys? I see the chat rolling in. I see the flames. Welcome in, everybody. I'm going to show you guys the chart of today, and then the next week we'll talk about it. And then we will go through the whole zodiac. It's going to be great. I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking. Let me see how I share my screen. I love that I can share my screen. So this is the chart. This is the astrology. Right now, the sun is at 11 degrees of Scorpio. We've got the moon at 12 degrees of Aries in this chart, which is a couple hours ahead. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to break it all down. We've got Mercury at 4 degrees of Sagittarius. Venus is at 25 Libra. Mars is at 29 Scorpio. A lot of changes this week, guys. Jupiter's at 25 Cancer. Saturn is at 25 Pisces. You've got Uranus at 0 Gemini. Neptune at 29 Pisces. And then Pluto at 1 Aquarius. So at the end of the week, next Sunday, Monday-ish, we're going to have the sun at 18 Scorpio. So this really is the middle of Scorpio this week, guys. So we just had Halloween, and from an astrological perspective, we're going to have Samhain. So this is a turning of the wheel. This is that seasonal transition. Hey, yo, I see it in the chat. Hey, yo, you guys like the video. If you haven't subscribed, definitely hit that button because we're about to hit the 5K. We're like a couple away. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for taking the time to watch this live. Happy birthday to the Scorpios. Celebrate. You guys represent. This is the time that we're all going through. I'm going to break it down for a second, or in a second, I'm going to run the rest of the degrees just so you can kind of see the major highlights this week. I'll point them out. So number one is the sun in Scorpio. It's Samhain, 15 Scorpio, right in the middle of Scorpio. We get it this week. So the moon goes full this week in the sign of Taurus. So at the end of the week, you'll see the moon closer to Cancer. So about midweek, we're going to have that full moon. We'll talk about it. We've got Mercury stationing retrograde. We're going to have that for about 20 days, a Mercury retrograde coming up. So here's the thing. And then Venus switches signs. Venus goes from Libra to Scorpio. Oh, shit. And then you've got Mars going from Scorpio to Sagittarius. Are you kidding me? Guys, this means real change for like 5 different reasons. And then you've got Jupiter sitting there still at 25, Saturn still at 25. The rest of the planets really aren't moving too much. You actually do get Uranus retrograding back into Taurus, which is really interesting. And we could really take the time to talk about this for like a good talk and maybe write libraries of books about these transits, especially the outer planets. But I think we'll just keep it simple. I think I'm going to jump into a collective tarot, and then we'll jump into the signs. And this time, we're going to start with Scorpio because it really is the season that we are in. And I think we get to do things from Scorpio's perspective. So I'm really excited about that. As far as doing a collective reading, you can you have your one rising sign, right? Like I'm a Virgo rising, for instance. So I only see life through that perspective, but I like to, adjust it for the current one. And I'm interested to kind of see if this teaches me something about the Scorpio energy as we go through it. So I see the hearts flooding through in the chat. I appreciate you guys. Good energy. Thanks so much. All right. So Scorpio is about transforming. A lot of times that means healing. Scorpio deals with your power. It deals with your control over situations or your life. Taurus in the zodiac, you really got to think about this wheel like a reality map. If you are a person, that's more like Aries. Taurus is the things that the person needs. And if you look at polarity, Taurus, your needs, is opposite to Scorpio. That's going to be your desires, the things outside of you, the things that you got to connect with. Scorpio is the great mystery in life. It's death, it's sex, it's rebirth, it's the taboo things. From a tropical perspective, now we're in the middle of fall. So it's time to let go. It's time to start to regenerate our energy. From a body perspective, Scorpio is the sex organs and the reproductive and the excretory system. So this has all to do with your power in this life. And I think it's also interesting how this overlays the Gregorian calendar, because now we're in November and you're like 2 months away from a new year. So you start to think like, damn, what was this? How did this year go? How successful was I when it came to the things I set out for during New Year's? My intentions, my desires, like how much control do I have over my desires? How do I attain them? How do I relate to them? Where's my power going? You start to think about shit like that. So I'm just trying to make it really real for you guys. That's the spirit of Scorpio. And it's really the great mysteries. It's the things we may keep secret, things we may do in private. In Scorpio, you really have a deep connection to the world. They say the veil gets thin. So, we're celebrating our ancestors. We're celebrating the mighty dead. We're venerating. We're building altars and, we're turning the wheel. And it's interesting to think from this perspective that, the nature is going to do what it's going to do. But if you can participate in something ritualistic or magical, you start to involve yourself with the energy a little bit deeper. So my heart recommends the fire family to do something magical around this point. A full moon ritual sounds perfect this week. I'll show you guys. Let's go day by day for a second. So this chart is closer to where we are right now, okay? On Sunday. And we're just going to go day by day. So this is Tuesday morning. So we're going to have this full moon on Wednesday morning, okay? The middle of the week. So you can plan your magic accordingly. The moon phases take about 2 to 3 days to switch. So this week, you're going to want to fuck around and find out. You're going to want to ritualize. You're going to want to get into your shamalama ding dong for real. Whether you're burning candles or lighting incense or taking baths or connecting with nature or journaling or going on journeys. Oh, man. There's no telling what Scorpio is going to show you. So anyway, let me pull a couple tarot cards. I'm going to show you guys the oracle too. I'm going to take the screen down for a second just so I can see you guys a little bit better. Okay, boom. And also for the replay. So I like to do a 10 card spread, which basically goes 1, 2, 3 on the very bottom. There's going to be 4, 5, 6 on top, which is the middle, 7, 8, 9 on the very top. It's like a 3 by 3. And then my 10th card is going to sit on top of the very spread, which is kind of the key to focus on. So the past energy, which is ironic, is Sagittarius. That's the next energy, technically. So stick with me, guys. The current energy is the pentagram. That's the middle, which is power, is manifestation. The future is the caduceus. It's all about healing, integration. This even is a symbol of Scorpio. If you think about the serpent, that's powerful stuff. Oh man, I love to see all the familiar faces on YouTube. I see most of you guys on TikTok too, so it's awesome to see that we made it to this platform. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We've got the serpent. What's good, Rach? What's good, Lyra? What's good, Haley? What's good, Val? What's good, Chevy? Oh my goodness. Sabbath, what's good? Okay. And this is about, climbing the tree of life. The top symbol is a Reiki symbol, which really deals with emotional and mental balance. So it seems that this week, what we can expect is to confront ourselves on a deeper level. That's what the narrative is suggesting here to me. So I'm just going to say 1, 2, and 3. We'll jump into the cards and then we'll start going sign by sign. And I also want to say this first one, I'm going to count it as Scorpio rising. So then the next, we're just going to jump into Sagittarius rising after that, okay? So keep in mind, this is for Scorpio, but because we're in Scorpio, everybody's going to feel this one a little bit. And just hit it right off the rip. I mean, what Scorpio is the sign after Libra too. So, we just entered fall, or most of us did. It depends on your hemisphere. That does mean change. And of course, change is the only constant. But if you think about the cycle around the sun, we're either going toward it's expansion or contraction. You're either going hotter and brighter, longer daylight or less daylight, basically, depending on which way you're moving around the season. I mean, it's pretty simple. Spring, summer, winter, fall. It's like it's elementary, but you guys know to talk about astrology, we just have to touch it for a second. Okay, we got a lot of queens in the tarot too. So not only does the sun and Mars and Venus kind of like put the spotlight on Scorpio this week, which says, more power, more purpose to them, is asking us all to step into our power. The Scorpios I'm seeing are being encouraged to dream big. It's the 10 of Cups energy. So let's break it down. Let me show you this one more time, just so you can see also where I'm at with the chart. But for the Scorpios, the first house is lit. Of course, that's where the sun is. Then you've got Mars. Then you've got Venus moving in this week. So the Scorpios are lit up. They've got the energy, they've got the will, and they've got the love. It's a good time to be a Scorpio rising. I mean, it's like the ball is in their court to sit back and receive, but also to enjoy. I'm seeing the hermit energy. This also could revolve around a lot of secrecy. People may just want to disappear because they're in the laboratory. They got their own energy. They got their own direction. They don't really need outside interference with their plans, their schemes, things like that. And scheme doesn't need to be a bad thing, by the way. So the top card is and this is really the only card that matters as far as I'm concerned. The 9 cards or the 3x3 tells a story, which you can look at in a multitude of directions. But the bottom line is this, guys. It's the Ace of Wands in reverse, which is really saying, where's my energy being drained? And also, what do I want? Of course, you have to identify your desire, usually to actualize it, or else you're wandering. And that's fair. But what do you want and how do you get it? So what's draining me? What's the obstacles? Like, are there any parasites to my energy? Am I leaking any energy? This also tells the story of, just health being so important, especially the mental and spiritual health. That is something that we really have to confront. It inevitably comes up on our path to pursuing our goals. I mean, and check out this transit. For these people in particular, I'm going to move it up a couple. Like, this is my Virgo in me wants to, it says Libra 29. There we go, Scorpio. So if this is the Scorpio rising equal chart, right? You've got Pluto in the 4th house as well. So, I mean, if you are a Scorpio rising, let me know in the chat. These are your transits. Like, The comments, I'm pretty sure they save on the replay, but I want to use this live also to kind of build a discussion as we go through the 1 by 12 or the 1 to 12. People can talk about their transits. They can see what's going on as we go through these breakdowns. Pluto in the 4th house for the Scorpio risings is a 20-year transit. That's very exciting. I mean, this just kicked off this year. So there's a true shift in direction and center of gravity for these people, dealing with their home, dealing with their family, dealing with their heart space. So this inner journey gets deep. Finding emotional balance, it becomes priority for a lot of people. Scorpio risings, I mean, people in general, but Scorpio risings, there's a fuck ton of those people. Fire family, do you see this? This is crazy. So as far as the moon, I want to point this out as far as how these people their week is going to go. You know, sun in the first all week, Scorpio rising, this is your time to shine. Venus is coming in. You're going to feel a lot more positive about yourself, your appearance, your glow, your aura, your swag. It's going to also be kind of more concerning for you. And also you may just feel that energy is naturally, you know, just present there. But just enjoy life, because love and money and blessings generally come to you with the first house Venus transit. Tap the energy even. You know, you can use astrology proactively as well. I just say these are auspicious transits for the Scorpio rising. Keep in mind also, Mars moves out of the first house. So what I just said was more about Venus moving into the first house. Now Mars moving out of the first house really is going to say the Scorpio rising people, they're going to be much more focused on security and just getting their needs met and having simplicity, structure, and peace in their life. Mars in the second. Simplicity. I can't make it even more this simple. Simple, simple, simple. Since we're still in the collective energy, I also want to say, guys, Mercury is stationing retrograde this week. After this, like really at the end of the week. So what that means is whatever we experience this week, guys, is really gonna characterize an even longer theme of change and release. And I hope that hits home for somebody and they can see what I'm saying, because I'm kind of throwing a thought form your way. Is that because this week we go through the full moon and the astrological Samhain, Scorpio is the archetype of change. We have this 20-day retrograde right after this week. Like at the end of the week, we have this 20-day retrograde. So whatever you're thinking about experiencing, whatever goal pursuit you're on, and whatever conflicts arise at this time, you're going to see that you have this ability to dismantle it easier over this next 20 days of Mercury retrograde. Because I think at the most positive and simple, Mercury retrograde is a mindset shift. Okay. I don't think enough people talk about this. They always want to talk about the bullshit. Mercury retrograde is a mindset shift. And that's always how we get to another level. 100%. So get excited, guys, because this one in Mercury Sagittarius, this really questions our ability to think big, among other things. But think about that for a second. Are you a big thinker? Can you tell the difference between a big thinker and a small thinker? All right. But anyway, a couple things. Mars is going to make an opposition to Uranus this week as it goes across to Sagittarius. So I will just say you probably are going to have a lot higher energy this week. Take advantage of it and keep things simple. But yeah, use this inspiration to hit your goals and to brainstorm and to innovate and find different ways to do the things that you're doing. Another thing that's glaringly obvious, if you guys are looking at this chart right now, guys, look at that big triangle in the very middle. Do you see it? It's a big blue triangle. It's really a bunch of water placements in the zodiac. You know, it's the Jupiter Cancer. It's all the Pisces placements. It's these late Scorpio placements. So really, to make that short, sweet, and simple for the Scorpio people, and really everybody, but mostly the Scorpios, guys, your intuition is your guide this week. If you trust how the fuck you feel, if you use your feelings two ways, you know, one, to receive information, but two, to send information to the world. Oh man, you're really going to be unstoppable. For real. I'm talking magic. I'm talking energy work. I'm gonna leave it at that, Scorpio. I tip my hat. Have your week. Enjoy it too. uh, the November 2nd, Electric Boogaloo. You know, that's what it is. So, Scorpio, keep it real. We're gonna move into Sagittarius rising. So, if you're a Sagittarius, let me know down below. You guys can rep your placements too. So this actually moves us backwards in the zodiac. You guys, or not in the zodiac, but in the houses. You guys know, right? It's gonna be awesome having Scorpio in the 12th. You said, are Leo and Cancer placements more often empowered because they're constantly affected by the sun and the moon? Exactly right. Yeah, that's a good question. And yes, those are the rulers of those placements, so they're absolutely more affected. And you're seeing it, you're catching it. It's nice. So let me tell you guys, Scorpio season for the Sagittarius people is a little bit more withdrawn in big picture. It's more psychic. It's more isolate. It's more universal. It's more transcendent. We all have a 12th house sun transit once a year. You know, it's the month right before our ascendant, of course. But you're going to see the Sagittarius people now more than ever at this part of the year introspecting and contemplating, you know, where are we going next? What sacrifices they're making on behalf of the greater all that leave them drained, and whether that's producing good fruits. And also, where do they self-sabotage? That's really the next big thing that pops out of the 12th house is like, where do you do too much and then, you know, dig your own coffin or whatever? Like, where do you put yourself on the cross? That's the 12th house sun. It's the big picture, though. You may see yourself, you know, extra sleepy, needing a lot of rest as you're going through that energy as well. Oh man, it's like I kind of forgot about this, or to mention this in the Scorpio reading, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. But the full moon, guys, it's gonna hit everybody's chart this week too. So that's a whole nother dimension to consider. Wherever you have Taurus, which is always going to be opposite Scorpio, you know, this part of your chart is going to get activated as well at about 12 degrees. So if you have placements at 12 degrees of fixed signs, or a little bit further out around 12, you know, those are definitely going to become activated in your chart. I got Chiron at 12 Scorpio, so I'm pretty jazzed about this one, guys. Bring on the fucking healing, man. All right. So you do have Mars going into the first house for Sagittarius. So that's something to consider also. Really the big highlight. So I will say, guys, that even though the 12th house kind of has a more mystical undertone, when you put Mars in the first, the Sagittarius people get amped the fuck up. This week is going to be lit for the Sagittarius. I'm just going to tell you right now, fam. They got 8 of Wands in their energy. You know, and their full moon is happening in the 6th house. So the full moon, among other things, kind of is a highlight. It's a spotlight. It's a big, bright light, right? And it's asking us, are we fulfilled? Are you full? Did you get enough? You feel me? It really is like that. I hope you guys have connected to the moon. You have. Just pay attention to the moon, because she gonna take care of you. The moon in the 6th house for the Sagittarius people, they're gonna really start to feel their bodies a lot more and wonder, you know, can I feel healthier? What can I do? What can I change in my lifestyle? That's a big thing for everybody. I want to say, speaking on more the big picture, this is what I meant when I started the video. Like, massive lifestyle changes. Talking the 20-day period of the retrograde after this full moon in Samhain this week. yeah, we're going to be contemplating big lifestyle changes beyond the different mindset shifts. Those are two ways. It's mind and matter. It's going to be amazing. So get excited for that. That's really going to be the theme of the week. And ultimately, it's whatever the fuck you want it to be. But as a Leo sun, I honestly feel really connected to the sun. And I think the sun wants us to know we're on a fucking mission right now, guys. And if you understand the assignment, if you know you're on a mission, you're hype as fuck. And speaking of that, I'm going to burn the Frankenburn because I need my words to reach you guys. So if you are a Sagittarius, stay lit, stay positive. You're really going to be, and I said this in my little spiel, but I can show you in the cards because we all like pretty pictures. No joke. For the Sagittarius people, you're going to start looking at where are you giving and it's not giving. That's Sun in the 12th house transit. That's Mars in the first as well. It's like you're going to put your foot down and say, bitch, I'm going to live my life. And nobody's going to stop me from fulfilling my desires. Because that 6th house full moon is about your lifestyle. It's about your daily. It's about your health, your routine. And it's like if you're not getting what you want in life, you have to drastically change your fucking life. The 6th house energy, they talk up Virgo energy is a mystery. My astrologers know like how deep this goes. When you start to look at the signs like symbols and like a language, they start giving you like lists of archetypes. The 6th house is crises, This 6th house full moon transit this week, this going to look like millions of different things across the world because these are just reflections of life. But for some, they'll be at their job like, damn, I can't do this shit anymore, fam. Or I'm going to run the company. Or, somebody on that week is like, I have a dream. It can be deep. That 6th house, it could illuminate work that has to be done in the world beyond having like a healing overtone to it. But really what I'm seeing in the cards and they're on the screen is that 6 and the Ace of Cups in reverse. Like where are you pouring out where it's not giving a return? 6th house could be efficiency, definitely things like that. So for this edge, is ultimately what you want it to be. Clarity is your power. I'm gonna move this forward to Capricorn, but just understand the Pluto signs, guys. If you really want to get in touch with Scorpio, look at where Pluto is in your chart and study it. And then once you get a grasp of that, then start to look at it in the transit and watch how it affects you over time. So for instance, as I move forward, Sagittarius rising had that Pluto in the 3rd house. So the power for them is in their perspective. It's in their words. I mean, for them, it quite literally is mindset. If you move it into Capricorn, then Pluto's in the 2nd house. You can see how it moves across. But let's start with the big picture before we get into the microscopic, because Pluto is kind of powerful like that. So for Capricorn rising this week, let's cover the main highlights. Number 1, the sun is in your 11th house. So for the Capricorn rising, the whole month of Scorpio is kind of like networking and planning out your future, setting goals and thinking about who you associate with. It's beautiful. The full moon this week for the Capricorn rising is in the 5th house. So at the end of the day, you're going to have to confront issues with yourself, this week. If I can make it really short and simple, yeah, that's how it is. Things are going to capitulate for you this week, Capricorn. Understand that. And have fun with it. It's beautiful. It's personal growth. Are you happy? Are you having fun? These are the actual questions. Do you like your life? Do you like yourself? It could even deal with your kids. It could deal with the things that you create, and also, to take it really deep, but at the same time, this is really the theme is, are you giving yourself to the world? Because I hope you guys can see it in a chart. I'm speaking on the full moon. We'll have this sun in Scorpio, and that full moon will be in Taurus. The moon and the sun are always opposite in a full moon. Do you guys see that? So wherever it's hitting in the chart, it's triggering two signs. I feel like that this is pretty clear, but just making sure we're seeing that too. So it's that axis of the two signs that's really going to be the theme. And for these, it's fifth and 11th. You know, how do you fit into the world? How does that world fit into you, to you? You know, conformity comes with the cost of autonomy. So ultimately, Scorpio in this context is like, do you have the power to show up in this world? Do you have the power to be yourself around others? And hey, guys, like this is actually really crazy. If you look at this, I'm so glad we're having this discussion. This is a great event. I'm hoping you guys enjoy this as much as I do. But look at, I don't know if I have the annotations, but like in this chart, look between the 10th, the 2nd, and the 5th. Or I'm sorry, the 11th, the 2nd, and the 5th. That's kind of like a grand T-square, not a grand whatever, but a T-square. Sun and moon, and then it would be Pluto. So if you extend the orb a little bit, it's a little bit wide, I will say, because you got the sun at 12 is where this full moon is going to occur. The moon would be in 12, and then then the Pluto is kind of at 1. So it's about 10 degrees away, but it's still a square if you really think about it. And of course, the square is getting activated by the planets respectively at other times. You know, we already had the Sun-Pluto square, but I digress. Where this relates to the Capricorn is kind of what I just said. The Pluto in the 2nd, you're going to see these people are more obsessed with security and making sure that they have the means and the resources to express themselves. 5th house, keyword expressing themselves in this world. Pluto, the 2nd house, resources. Let's pull these cards. I'm gonna get their card for them. I just had to yap for a second. I'm excited for my sign always, but it's funny if we start with Scorpio, I'm on the back half of the wheel. All right. I love to see the devil card in the Capricorn reading. It makes all the sense in the world. So keep in mind the ingresses too, guys. That for these people that they're going to see that the Mars is going to go into the 12th house. I'm getting the High Priestess in their spread. The Sun card in the middle too. It's of course all about that 5th house, 100%. Oh, and this is a good reminder. I love it. The last card is the Wheel of Fortune, which is Jupiter's card. And it's saying to don't forget about that 7th house Jupiter. That the way that you show up for others in this world, you know, what goes around comes around, basically. That's what it's saying. If you missed Scorpio, you should be able to rewind and watch it. We started with it. It's only a couple of signs back. But the Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter in the 7th house for the Capricorn. So they just need to understand that, you know, I feel like Caps get this, but the integrity goes a long way. And the way that we treat others, you know, the energy we put in the world is absolutely going to come back for us. And by being open, by being conscientious, you know, miracles can come into your life through the form of people, truly. I could yap about that, but I mean that from the bottom of my heart as a 7th house Jupiter person. And I will just say, you know, looking at these cards, not to yap too long about them, and I'm going to move people. I see this with Temperance in reverse, is that, you know, there are going to be certain questions about where your boundaries are supposed to lie, but the High Priestess says, fam, you've always been able to get the answers from yourself, so don't trip. Just treat people the way you want to be treated, and you're going to be good. Jupiter in your 7th is quite simple. And have fun this week too. I mean, really, I've said it before as I move to Aquarius. I said it before, but I really think that's the one that hits the deepest, is confronting yourself and then considering how much fun are you having, and if you're happy. That's really going to be the big fucking question in the forefront of the Capricorn rising's mind. I guarantee it. I just know, because we're going through Samhain. Like it's one thing. This is crazy, guys. Think about this. It's one thing to have that full moon at 12 Scorpio Taurus, but you get astrological Samhain 3 days later. This is a crazy fucking week. And I'm here for it. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing because big changes are coming, whether or not we participate in them. But if we consciously turn the wheel and don't fall asleep at it, oh Lord, you'd be surprised what miracles you create in 3 months. Seriously. I think mid Scorpio, aka Samhain, makes you think about, where were you mid Leo? How were these last 3 months? On a shorter time frame. But anyway, let's get into Aquarius. This is beautiful stuff. For the Aquarius, Scorpio is all about the 10th house, which is the big picture on some level. The goals you have, the work you do in this world, your legacy, beyond career and your job, your title. It's what you leave behind that really matters. So Scorpio kind of brings out the inner genius for the Aquarius. You'll see that. And having a full moon this week in your 4th house, Aquarius, that's very special. That's really the place to have the full moon. And this week is really going to bring things into balance for you. This gives me the vibe that, it's one of those signs that you may not even need to really do too much ritualistic, because just enjoying yourself at your house and being comfortable and trusting your feelings, a lot of times that is the ritual, especially when you talk about that 4th house moon. Oh, yeah. Do you feel at home? Like, what do you need to do to feel at home? That's what it says. I'm looking at, it says 12:22 on my clock right now. This astrology chart doesn't follow my actual time because I'm moving it around, of course, guys. But 12:22, as I said that. Like, do you feel at home? Is it natural? Can you let go? Can you release? Can you surrender? Talk about sun in the 10th house of Scorpio. This is like, do you feel your power enough in this world to be comfortable within? That's the conversation for Aquarius. I would say sun, moon, and rising, even though I'm going off the rising sign to really just take in this energy fully. All Aquarius placements. That's the conversation for the divine mind this week. I was trying to think about what part of the body is Aquarius. I said mind. I thought shins, because it's the legs or whatever, but Aquarius energy is an archetype we all experience. So regardless of your placements, this energy goes through these changes this week, guys. So that's the thing that's beautiful about astrology. Pluto in the 1st house for 20 years, all power to the Aquarius right now. As far as transits go, you'll see Mars move out of the 10th into the 11th, Venus move into the 10th. So there's a nice glow for the Aquarius right now, where they're going to feel more positive about their power and what they're doing in life, their goals. They'll see more support, Venus in the 10th, from other people. Mars in the 11th house is going to say, maybe I need to put myself out there more, or break free even from any other restrictions. I'm going to get the Aquarius their card and kind of see what that's given. And track your transits, guys, because you have your own placements in these constellations. And like I said, if you have placements that are at 12 degrees, or give or take, in the fixed signs, they're going to be activated this week at about Wednesday as we go through this full moon. And also water signs, specifically Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. They're specifically going to be affected in this moon. And this is great, bro. The patterns. It's funny doing 12 readings for each, one for each sign. Guys, we got the Ace of Wands again in reverse. When you put a card back and it comes back out exactly the way, bro, in the exact same spot, that's the 10th card. Holy shit. That's crazy. The Ace of Wands in reverse. So, hey, that's the same. Keep it short, sweet, simple. We got to go through more signs, man. Aquarius is also wondering, damn, where's my power being leaked? This is my world, damn it. So what's interrupting me? That's the transition of Mars from the 10th to the 11th. It's like Mars in the 10th is world domination, full speed ahead, pedal to the metal, nose to the grindstone. And then the 11th house is like, okay, now where's the direction? Big picture, where are we going? Can we innovate? So there is a lot going within. There's crossroads. There's the need for balance. I could yap about these cards, but Aquarius, I think if you just remember to fucking breathe, you'll be A to the O key. A to the O key. Track your transits, man, because ultimately that is really the theme. I think the simplest and sweetest thing is on a higher time frame. The lessons for the Aquarius is the 4th house moon. So just keep that in mind. Your intuition. What's your connection with your own heart space? You need to know you can rely on your intuition and put that into practice. All right, so we're going to move into Pisces. Pisces puts Scorpio in the 9th, right? The 9th is also big picture. It's belief. It is philosophy. It's your education. 9th could talk about expansion or travel, new experiences that you have. It's the wisdom to attain. It's the places to go. It's unfamiliar. It's foreign. That's the 9th house. So you'll see that, as an energy, Scorpio reflects all types of things like death, sex, rebirth, mysteries, power, control, taboos, money, all types of fuckery. Scorpio is weird. So you see, for the Pisces people right now, this month is more about actually going to experience it. Like there's a true interest, a true pull to get involved with it. That's the sun in the 9th. Beautiful stuff, guys. Okay. And then when this full moon rolls around in their 3rd house in Taurus, then they start to question. It's like, so which parts of it do I assimilate? Which parts do I remove from my mind? What information am I needing? And what am I also conveying? This also could do with moving. Pisces people, it could deal with moving and changing your environment as well. And that could totally look like getting a new place to dwell, or this could look like feng shui in your house and organizing it a little bit. So there's that to keep in mind also. As far as the ingresses this week, Pisces, you're going to see the Mars moves into the 10th house. And this is exalted. And this is going to be here for some weeks. Keep that in mind, because Mars transits, they take about 4 to 6 weeks to go through a sign. So, for the Pisces people, understand that with the Mars going in the 10th house, they're going to feel more authoritative and, disciplined and direct about getting what they want in their life. They're going to find it easier just to take action and stay consistent, because that's the desire to succeed, quite literally. Mars in the 10th, and also to do things their own way too. So it's like nobody's going to tell the Pisces people shit in the next, month or so. So keep that in mind. Wherever you see this Mars transit, it's going to be there for about a month as it goes through Sagittarius. So I just hope that's clear for everybody, because this is a whole new focus. This is a whole new energetic, whole new shift. You also see that you're going to have Venus move into the 9th house. And that's the love of the broad. And that could, I cannot be serious, bro. That means a couple of things. I'm laughing now. So what I mean is like what did I mean? Bruh, it's the love of the meaningful is what I meant. The philosophical, the deep, foreign, the tasteful. It's great. Venus in the 9th is a great book. It's a lesson. It's beautiful. It's a new perspective too. 1,000%. So the water trine is really hitting in these fire houses for these ones. I'm going to pull their cards and see what we get for their 10th one. Because if you're talking in terms of Scorpio, your power in this life, we're talking about those 3rd and 9th houses for this person. And that means questioning what you believe. What kind of thoughts are you holding that just drain you of energy? This could talk about thought patterns, or your everyday habits that are going to have to go through adjustment. I mean, and that's also relative to the 12th house transit. If you look at Pluto in the 12th and the 6th house, that deals with your daily, so for the Pisces people, the question this week, and you're going to be contemplating this over the next, months to come, is like, where do you unconsciously leak energy? And I felt my body react to what I'm saying. So I know someone's going to feel what I'm saying, fam. But like for the Pisces people, it's not going to be like a quick fix. I'm going to tell you the truth for any of us, by the way, not just Pisces, but I'm just trying to illustrate the shift we're going through, guys. In astrology, they always, and I have to tell you, always there's a shift, but this week is crazy because of the Samhain full moon. Samhain is kind of like a window, guys. Let me tell you why. Most people celebrate Samhain on Halloween, which is the 31st. And they're not wrong to. Technically, that's fair. Some do it on November 1st. But from an astrological perspective, if you're going strictly off the degrees, 15 Scorpio is actually where Samhain is. So I'm telling you, it's kind of like a portal. It's kind of like a window. So Samhain is about transformation. It is about death and rebirth. It is about the descent into the underworld. We start to think about what changes do we need to make. You start throwing the Scorpio archetype into it, your desires. What do you need to transform in your life to attain certain things or to be the right person? Whatever we're focused on this week, guys, it's going to be the theme of a bigger release that we'll be working on for, at least a month. Because we get this retrograde Mercury kicking off right at the end of the week for a good 20 days too, and gives us a good way to shift our mindset on that. It's good stuff. But especially for the Pisces, specifically mindset and daily habits, where you get to realize or hopefully diagnose and address where you might be leaking energy unconsciously. Either the things that you say and think or the things that you do. It's one of the three. Say, think, or do. 7 of Cups in reverse. Exactly what I'm saying. That's the last card for Pisces. That's exactly what I'm saying. I love the pictures, man. They make sense, right? Y'all see that? I was saying it, but you see it. I see it. I love it. Pluto in the 12th, it's about rest. Yeah. You need to have the right boundaries in place, not just like psychically and magically, but I'm talking like physically and mentally, and discipline yourself and make sure you get the right diet in exercises and stuff like that. That's the 6th house, man. And it's what I'm a Virgo rising, by the way. So it's like I'm this same energy, but I'm opposite. I got that Pluto going through my 6th. I can't wait to talk about it, man. That's the Leo in me. I'm like, bro, I'm sorry to y'all, but I'm like, fuck everybody's signs, man. I want to get to mine. But that's what the Pisces going through. Let's get it. Love it. Love you, Pisces. Have a beautiful week. You're going to be in your feelings always. But, move through your emotions. Expand. Change your life a little bit. That's what this Scorpio season is about for you guys. You're going to, and especially with Uranus going through the 4th, you get uncomfortable with, or get comfortable with being uncomfortable, Pisces. Growth is uncomfortable. And I'm trying to speak straight to that 7 of Cups for the Pisces, is that, inertia is probably your biggest enemy. Discipline is your best friend. So inertia is your biggest enemy. All right. Yeah, you need to rest. Everybody does, but you got more energy than you would realize. And you just need to put it in motion. Okay? So let's go to Aries. This is cool. Now we're at the beginning of the wheel. So Aries. Aries has Scorpio in the 8th house, which is freaky, isn't it? Scorpio from an Aries perspective, and this is natural alignment, right? So you got the 8th sign, 8th house. So Scorpio from an Aries perspective is really all about their desires. It's about their secrets. It's about their own mystery of life. The 8th house is lit. Do you guys have 8th house placements? Where's my Aries at? Let me know. I see Mimi. What's good? What's good? I see the Aries. Okay, cool. I love it. I love it. I love it, man. This is about them getting what they want. The second house is where the full moon is going to hit, the Aries rising this week. So the whole theme is about getting your wants and needs met. I don't know if that sounds selfish. I don't know how that sounds. Is it hedonistic? Is it selfish? Is it necessary? I don't think it deserves a judgment. That's just what it is. It just is what it is. And a big question for the Aries people, it comes down to the 11th house Pluto, which is almost square. Like I told you guys, it's basically square to the full moon. And that would suggest that who you associate with matters. Okay. And also, the 11th house deals with your dreams, guys. Not the sleeping kind of dream, but I'm talking like your goal, like your aspiration, like your whole wish. Like if I could wish on a star, 11th house, you know, oh man, I would have this, 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 and this. So the message, and it's crazy. I'm like shuffling my cards, guys. This is wild. And one of my cards flipped. It was the Fool that I quote unquote accidentally flipped. And hey, this is the Aries energy. Dream big. Talk about Pluto in the 11th. Like, don't be afraid to dream big. I said this is a theme for the Mercury retrograde in Sag, and I mean it, guys. But can we dream big? Can we think big? What does that even look like? In what ways are you thinking small and holding yourself back? These are the questions to ask. Because it's likely, I'm telling you guys, I'm really speaking to the Scorpio right now. It's likely you have far more talent, potential, and skill than you realize. That you have more energy, more creativity than you're actually utilizing. That's how I'm seeing this energy. So you're going to have Venus going to the 8th house also for Aries. And then Mars moving to the 9th. It's the desire to go deep, to be wealthy, to be powerful, to have control. Venus is a challenge in the 8th house. I'm not even going to lie, guys. I mean, technically, if you want to look at things a little bit broader, every placement is a challenge, and every placement is a challenge, right? You can learn something everywhere. But I will just say, the interesting thing about Venus going into the 8th is that there is a desire for intensity. There's a subsequent need for control and surrender, which is like paradox. It's transformation at its core. It's finding a higher possibility. The 8th is like an investment. We have to put your energy into something else. And a lot of times you may not really, it takes on a life of its own, guys. Speaking of mystery, it really does. And there's no telling what comes from your shared connections and relationships. A lot of the themes this week for the Aries are going to revolve around security and independence. That's the full moon in the 2nd. I've got the 8 of Swords in the middle of their spread. You know, so in which ways do you feel trapped? Like you need to have freedom or wish you could do things your own way? Like that is the 8th house energy that, and it's funny because it's an 8 in the tarot too. I just kind of connected that. I never thought of it that way, but that's crazy to think about that. 8 of Swords is also an 8. Which we knew that, but the 8th house kind of has a similar energy in this context. The truth sets you free. That's relevant for the Aries. They've got the Ace of Swords and they've got the 8 of Pentacles being their last card. So if anything, that's reminding you to work, to be consistent, to pay attention to what's going on. Identify what you want. And sometimes this looks like just doing the work on yourself. Okay. I could go on and on and on about this one. This is actually a really beautiful chart. The Aries rising. I do need to talk about this one. The North Node. I didn't bring this up for anybody, but the fact that this is in the 12th house, I think it deserves a little bit of recognition. Like the universe is kind of giving the Aries people this sign right now that whatever they want could manifest. All their dreams could come true. If they believed, if they worked towards it, if they took aligned action, they could get it. But it does really revolve around, number one, identifying it. And I think that's also reflective of Sun in the 8th house. Is like, what the fuck is it that I want? You know, I think the mutable houses and the water houses, they kind of carry this energy of learning and searching too. So this 8th house Sun transit, Aries, I just want to say, among everything I've already said, you guys are deep in the mysteries too. So understand the depth that you get and just really feel it. Pay attention to it. Take a more wide-eyed approach towards it. But at the same time, you know, don't get too lost in the sauce because it's the second house moon. It's like, you know, how's your daily life? Are you healthy? Are you good? Do you have money saved? Are you investing? Are you growing? That's really like the bottom line for the Aries. So speaking on Taurus, this is going to get cool because this is the opposite sign. This is halfway across the wheel. For real. So Taurus represent, it's going to be 12 Taurus, guys. 12 Taurus. That's basically Wednesday when the moon goes full. All right. So just keep that in mind. And that's going to put the full moon in the first house for the Taurus. Hello. Guys, that's crazy. I got to sip the tea for that, man. So listen, guys, Scorpio season for Taurus is all about finding balance because you've got the sun going through the 7th. It's about harmony. It's about peace, reciprocity, and relationship. Like, do you have the right people around you? Are people seeing you? Are they pouring love into you? How is it working? Are you happy with your people? That's really what it's about. Are you seeing the beauty in life? That's sun in the 7th. So the first house moon, and I'm talking a full moon, by the way, full moon in the first house is self-reflection. It's a shedding of the personality. Powerful stuff, guys. Powerful stuff. If you're a Taurus in the first, let me know. What are you releasing? How's this gonna? How are you playing this energy? The 10th house, Pluto transit. This world is yours. You can do whatever you put your mind to. You can achieve it. If you take the time, if you're persistent, anything's possible. Truly. And the big question, and this is huge. I'm not even kidding. Not trying to exaggerate either. But the big question for Taurus, and I would say this probably applies to most of the fixed signs too, but the Taurus for sure, what type of person do you need to be? And I'm speaking specifically to that full moon in the first house, sun in the 7th, in context of 10th house Pluto. In order for you to get what you want out of life, what kind of person do you need to be? That's big. You're going to see the work revolving around that. In other words, transit-wise, Mars moves into the 8th house, Venus moves into the 7th house. So let's go for Venus first. So as far as Venus goes, Venus loves the 7th house, and it's going to feel even more of a natural pull towards people and relationships and beauty and harmony. So let me say on one note, the Taurus people, they're going to feel like reflecting is a lot easier too, and they'll also have a better sense of symmetry and quality. All right, now check this out. Then you add the Mars going into the 8th house where there's a deep desire to transform or to have control. You're going to see these Taurus people flip this week, guys. I'm telling you, they're going to get different. I'm telling you guys, this is a crazy fucking week. I'm so excited. I hope you guys are excited. Fuck, this is awesome. But the Taurus people, I'm not even a Taurus rising, but I love this shit, man. That's the crazy thing. My Saturn is in Taurus. So maybe that's something. Maybe my Saturn's hype as fuck. But guys, are you seeing what I'm saying? This energy. This is the ultimate lock-in. And I'm speaking for the Taurus energy right now. The Tauruses are going to lock the fuck in this week. So if they switch up and start acting all cold and busy, man, just understand they're transforming on the deepest level. It's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. And they may be very moody. They may be very emotional. That's a full moon in their first house, too. I just hope the Taurus don't crash out, but we'll see. Time will tell. This excitement is preemptive, guys, but I see the Knight of Swords in their energy. And this is actually what I'm seeing, man. Like this, I think articulates it very well. The first one is the King of Wands in reverse. So through that self-reflection, Venus in the 7th, and then the Mars in the 8th, the Taurus starts to kind of feel like I'm not shit. I feel like I made sense at first, but that's why they're going to start locking in, man, because they're like, fuck, dude, I got to go to the gym, or damn, I really should wear deodorant or some shit like that, you know, or like, damn, I ain't got no swag. Oh, fuck. They're like, damn, I'm broke. I need to get some money. That's kind of what it feels like. And then they get in this Knight of Swords energy, and they're like, yeah, I gotta be locked in. That's 8th house Mars. That's like your RPMs are going up in your car. You're speeding up. But you're getting what you want. It's the glimmer path. That's how Taurus goes. You just have to have the goal and work towards it. It's super fucking simple, man. Don't let the simplicity take the magic out of it. The Fool card. Let's see what the last card is. That's beautiful. Well, y'all get 2 cards because you're lucky. So the last card is the 3 of Cups and the King of Pentacles. And I think it's ultimately about, I mean, that's very Taurus energy. It's about you relaxing, Taurus, too. Like you need to basically structure your routine and find balance in your personal and public life. Make sure that you just work and play hard. Like it's simple. I could yap more. I think, you know, there's a lot to uncover in this, and we'll see over the week, but a big theme for them on that same spectrum of thought is just, do you have the right people around you? And do you have the right boundaries with yourself and others? And ultimately, in order for you to lock in, remember, birds of a feather flock together too. So this King of Pentacles with the 3 of Cups, it becomes like one card when you get the 2 cards in one spot. And this is like a prosperous friend group. In a prosperous friend group, you know, that's the archetype. This doesn't look like friends that just spend all their money and fuck their time off. This looks like friends that get money together. These are rich friends. This is like prosperous. Everybody has the means to be prosperous, but it's about assets, man, not liabilities, not wasting your time, investing your time. And it's like they can be merry and be joyful and find mirth. Fuck yeah. But it can't be to a detriment. It can't. It's like this gives me the vibe of having something to actually celebrate, celebrating an actual accomplishment. That is the best circle to have. Absolutely. Like, are you on the winning team? That's the real question for the collective this week. No joke, because we started with Scorpio. You know, in the zodiac is a collective reading. If you really think about it, I'm learning this more as I'm teaching it, but it is really a collective reading. So, you know, the question is, are you on the winning team? And what does that even mean to you? You got to sometimes join the best so you can become the best. Birds of a feather flock together. It's not what you know, it's who you know a lot of times. And I know the story is going to go this way for so many Taurus people. I mean, and other people, of course, too. But are you associated with the right ones? Or do you need to expand your horizons? Are things a little too limited? Are you too, and that's kind of Taurus energy. Are you too closed off? We'll see. Full moon in Taurus. Everybody goes through the full moon in Taurus this week. So we'll be kind of seeing it. Okay, let's move into Gemini, guys. Let's move to Gemini. Gemini, also kind of a lock-in, guys. So one thing about Gemini Scorpio, this is really interesting, by the way. Gemini and Scorpio are in conjunct. You may know this already, but that's 150 degrees. And that angle in astrology is crazy. You'll get that angle from the first house to the sixth house, 150. It also is the same angle from the first house to the eighth house. These signs don't relate in any way in element, mode, or duplicity. You've got air and water. You've got masculine and feminine. You've got, mutable and fixed. They're all different. There's a special magic here, is what I'm trying to say. And with the Scorpio energy for the Gemini risings, this really is about focusing on the work they're doing, their effectiveness, their productivity, their health. That's powerful stuff, guys. All of us are going through a shedding right now, and you may see, on a bigger picture thing, some of the Geminis are starting to contemplate and probably going to be changing up very soon the work that they're doing, the career that they work in, their vocation. They may get skills. They may shift directions. There could be a whole lot of things. They may take on an apprenticeship. Could be new responsibilities. So the full moon is going to be in the 12th house. Which is just a whole nother mystical ocean of work. There's so many archetypes, but work-life balance, that's one thing the polarity here talks about, the 12th and the 6th house, that full moon, where you'll see these Gemini people, they're going to really try to find that stability or that harmony between what they give, how they serve, the 6th house, and then the time they have to rest, relax, and transcend, which is the 12th house. All right? Like, do they get enough alone time? Essentially. This gives me a crazy vision, guys. But it's like, because then you have Pluto in the 9th house for these Gemini risings. And it's like, someone's crash out kind of goes like this. They need more alone time, 12th house. There's too much work, 6th house. They go on a fucking adventure and trip, 9th house Pluto. They're forced to go to the store and get milk and not come back or some shit like that. I don't know. That got real dark, but hey, man, Scorpio, I feel like it should be a little darker, to be honest. That's just one little, you could take it a lot deeper. The dark humor is not even that dark, man. That was kind of like, I was like gray. Anyway. Transits, you got Mars going into the 7th and you got Venus going into the 6th. So this is also important to see. Mars in the 7th wants relationships. It's sometimes about setting boundaries or forcing yourself, like, to draw the line. Say, this is where I hold it back. These are my needs. This is my non-negotiable. It is what it is. She said the Geminis are uncomfortable. No, for real. This is like one of those spontaneous trips. The 9th house Gemini. Well, here's the thing about the 9th house Pluto is, like, if you feel like you're growing, if you feel like you're expanding, if you see yourself learning the 9th house, you're generally going to be satisfied on a deeper, more unconscious level with Pluto transiting the 9th house, which is very powerful, kind of necessary for these people. Pluto in the 9th usually is a more positive transit, even though it's not technically positive or negative. The 9th house is our growth and our new experience. So usually you feel a little bit more positive about that stuff. Usually, not always, but usually. Anyway. I will say, guys, these energies look interesting for the Gemini rising, because Mars in the 7th, like I said, this may make you want or reflect you wanting to be in relationships or to connect more, to socialize, to expand your circle. And then Venus in the 6th on top of the sun is a service-oriented approach. That's the love of quality and details. You know, health concern, and concern is neutral too, but health concerns is going to be huge for Geminis as far as this week goes, and them contemplating like how the next couple months are going to go, even the next, how this season goes. Health issues. And I mean that in the most neutral way, man, because I don't want to spook anybody with my content, but that's the 6th house, is the functions every day, how your body works, you know, your fucking health. Because there's levels to it, man. It's not just like, you know, live or dead. You know, do you feel well? Do you feel alive? Are you strong? Are you flexible? Are you hydrated? Are you breathing well? There's all types of stuff like this. So the Tower is the card for the Geminis. The Tower, guys. And that Tower is on top of the 3 of Swords, the Hierophant, the 6 of Cups. So I see the learning. I see the growing. I see the service in these cards. It seems like alignment is really what the Geminis want more than anything, especially with Uranus transiting the 1st. I could talk about that forever, man. You feel this? Yeah. Yeah. Scorpio really is about healing. We know this. It goes deep. The North Node is going to be the focus. I said that at 111 on the timer. The North Node is always the focus in the chart, guys. I should say that more often. Like, you really can't stress that enough, that the North Node is the focus. Because we're looking at these isolated times and spaces, but keep in mind, everything is in fucking motion. And I'm so emphatic about this, because if everything's in motion, we can see where things are moving. So when we look at any one of these charts, they tell us where the direction is. Just so cool. So fucking cool. I mean, and this is another one of those interesting charts. I think the mutables, a couple of the mutable signs get these messages. The North Node in the 10th house of Pisces is whatever you dream, you can achieve. Whatever you dream, you can achieve. It's just going to take a plan and action. You may need to organize. You may need to associate, especially with this transit. I think sometimes it might be about having the right people in the right positions too. 2nd house, Jupiter, that's the transit. Like, you know, expanding your understanding of what are resources. That's huge. This goes deep. We could talk about all the planets, but I think that's the gist of it too. Is like, I do also see the healing, fam. I will say for the 3 of Swords in the very middle. There's the Magician. It's like, you know, the cards I'm seeing for Gemini, I have a lot more to say to them, is that when you're doing the right things, when you are putting in the work, the work that we do works on us. So when we do the right work, it does change us. And that brings its own type of pain. And that's totally okay. Growth is pain, right? So mitigating your pain kind of brings healing. They're almost one and the same. Like, your awareness goes to pain to bring about a change, to direct energy in the body. It's a signal from the nervous system. So that's powerful stuff. Big changes, man. And, you know, like with Uranus in the 1st house for 7 years, there's no fucking telling what this is going to really bring. But there's just this need to be free, to expand past your limits. That's how Gemini is really working right now. And it's looking like plans are being structured that are going to be laid out and worked for the next couple years to come, with Saturn finishing Pisces, and we're starting a whole new sign, a whole bunch of time frames. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I see these Gemini people putting themselves out there, but at the same time, some of them kind of having like I'm going to keep it real, like the crisis moment, the 12th house sun, or I'm sorry, the 12th house moon transit in the 6th house sun, the full moon in those mutable signs. I'm sorry, houses. Needing fucking rest, needing recovery, needing to really focus on the mental health balance. You know, making sure that you're good, and then the world is good, you know, and then we're good. And that's what I got for Gemini. So we're going to move into Cancer. Bear in mind, Cancer is ruled by the moon. And this week we have the full moon. This is an intense week, guys. I will say a good week nonetheless, but it's a very powerful and action-packed week in astrology. And I've been hitting these themes for every chart. So we're on Cancer right now, but just understand the main thing is Scorpio season, number one. And that's in the 5th house of Cancer, which is having fun. Your power is directed towards expressing yourself. Your power directed towards enjoying life, creating things. Kids could be a thing. It could be love affairs. It's romance. It's selfish. It's fun. You're the center of the universe. Enjoy it, Cancer. That's beautiful. The full moon is in the 11th house now. Taurus full moon this week. And what that's really going to suggest is, do you conform to groups? Are you comfortable around other people, fam? Cancer energy. Are you comfortable around others? Do you feel safe to express yourself and be in your power? 8th house Pluto transit. It's simple, but you're going to get new messages to create your dreams, to create long-term things. And beyond that, this reflects what I already said and can't stress enough, is that it's who am I? What kind of person am I? Am I the right person to achieve the levels of success that I want to see? We could talk about self-concept. We could talk about action, how you identify, but they all fall into the same energy. And there's going to be this big focus on your future right now for the Cancers with that full moon in the 11th house. Okay. 2 other things. Venus moves into the 5th. Mars moves into the 6th. Retrograde is starting in their 6th house as well. So this is powerful stuff. I love going through these charts because I know people under all of these signs too. So it's interesting for me to walk through the zodiac and get to see everything. We're going to end at Libra. So this is the back half of the wheel, fire family. The last 4 signs. Okay. And the main thing, Venus going into the 5th, there's going to be a much more selfish approach to life for the Cancer people too, man. This Scorpio energy, it does create a shift within us on the deepest level, guys, on so many levels from the top to the bottom. And this chart has Pluto in the 8th house. So you'll see something kind of flip in the Cancers this week after this full moon concerning personal power. That's 8th house Pluto, Sun in the 5th house, the personal power. And this could be a plethora of possibilities. It could be everything. This could be no, I don't want to work this job anymore. Or maybe I'm needing to take this class, or somebody might change their fucking identity. It's really that deep. It could actually play out that literally. It's wild stuff. It could be I'm cutting out a certain habit that makes me feel disempowered. Or simply, I'm done fucking caring about other people's opinions. That could be the full moon breakthrough in the 11th house. I'm done conforming to other people's ideas of me. I'm going to be me. That's the Sun in the 5th. The Sun is home in the 5th, guys. So I hope you can see the beauty here for the Cancer people. This is about, and the thing about this, guys, like I say, conformity comes with a cost. We're all social creatures. So I think to some degree, we do trade autonomy. So our very existence becomes an act of rebellion. Okay, I think I got back. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me? I'm back. Okay, boom. Okay, boom. Cool. I was filming a little bit for the Leo. Yeah, we just did Cancer. Okay, cool. We are so back. Cool. Well, right on. I wonder how this replay is going to turn out. Time will tell. But yeah, we were just doing Cancer, and then we are so back, baby. Okay, cool. That had me confused for a second. I'm wondering if I'm tripping about the time clock. Did I just go back in time? Anyway, We're on the back half of the wheel, guys. So basically, we start with Scorpio. Full circle is Libra. So just keep in mind, I don't know if you guys heard a damn word I said. A lot of the people in the live chat. I'm gonna say this. Let's jump into Leo. And I am a Leo too, by the way. Shout out to my Leo rising. It's gonna be more specifically for them, but any Leo placements this week is gonna be fucking lit for everybody, man. I'm telling you, serious week, important week, major week. About 4 themes. Number 1, full moon. Number 2, Mars Sagittarius. Number 3, Venus Scorpio. And bruh. Did I say number 4? Something like that. Mercury, it doesn't matter. Mercury's retrograde, fam. It's about to start the retrograde. Just keep that in mind. There's a lot of stuff going down. And for Leo specifically, Scorpio season is really about expressing your power. Okay? 4th house, Scorpio, is about getting in touch with your emotions, your feelings, and the messages they bring you. How you connect to your body, how you connect to your environment, how you connect to your heart, your true wants and your desires that come from your heart, the feelings you want to experience. You could get quantum physical about that if you really wanted to, but one thing you will absolutely see is a renewed sense of ambition with the moon in the 10th. Then Mars going into the 5th. That's personal power. These Leo people want to express their personal power. Venus in the 4th is also a more sensual, emotional orientation to life and relationships too. 100%. So you'll see the Leo people getting a little more demanding about what the fuck they want. Their card is the 6 of Wands, of course. And I think that pretty much sums it up. That's the best way to look at it, is that, a Leo person, this energy already has strong will and dignity, but you put this Mars in the 5th house. Oh, man. Sun and Venus in Scorpio. Oh, man. Yeah, they're gonna feel the glow up. The middle card in their spread is the 4 of Wands in reverse, which kind of feels like to me that there's going to be Leos going through this week thinking that, like, damn, I'm more special than this. I don't deserve this. I deserve better than this. They're just like, yeah, so get ready for the Leo stack brand new. They're already demanding. And I can vouch for that. 7th house Pluto. They said, I want power in my relationships. I'll leave it at that. Scorpio is having us all question our gifts right now, our sacrifices right now. I mean, on one level for the Leos, it looks to me like quality over quantity for relationships. That phrase doesn't work in every part of life, but I think for the Leos, they're going to be seeking that in their relationships. But anyway, oh shit, this is mine. Hell yeah. Anyway, it goes. Let's talk about the Virgo. So the Virgos, guys, they got Scorpio in the 3rd house. So Scorpio season is all about the power of their mind and their immediate environment, their self-talk, the words they choose, the affirmations, and then also where you live. Your location is really important. Your technology and your social media, that's also really important. The 3rd house is learning. For the Virgo rising, this has a lot to do with if you're really taking in the right information. Keep in mind the full moon is going to hit that 9th house. Okay? 9th house full moon. So the question is, and this is a really beautiful question for the Virgo rising, is like, are you comfortable on your growth path? Are you comfortable with expansion? Are you comfortable with learning? Are you comfortable with alternative viewpoints? They say growth is a stretch, growth can hurt, and it really can. And that's reflecting the 6th house Pluto transit for these people too. Is the daily routine, the schedule, the service, and the health. It all kind of is the fulcrum in which these lessons lie. Is how can you integrate these into your life? That's the real test. That's the real measure. With that 6th house Pluto. Powerful stuff. But the person that you want to become is going to be attained by through what you do every single day, what you do on repeat, what your habits are. So I do see with the Virgo people, the attainment of knowledge is really key for them right now with all this third house energy. So you got it. Yeah. The attainment of knowledge. You're going to see Mars move into the fourth, Venus move into the third, which is really cool. I mean, also, you can see the planets in the chart right here, but I think it's worth talking about Jupiter going through the 11th house. And Jupiter going through the 11th house is just personal growth, and expanding into your community and opening your horizons too to life. You put Venus in the third, it's easier to get your message across. It's easier to relate to people. It's easier to communicate. And then you put Mars in the fourth, and then there's this more emotional orientation to life as well. So I see flow. I see good things happening too. And honestly, like I said, it all kind of falls down onto the conversation within your own fucking head. That's how I interpret this, is that, you really do get to kind of choose your own adventure in a lot of ways. So for the Virgo people specifically, this could be a lot of the mutable signs like Pisces, really Gemini, Sag, but choose your narrative because it really matters. Reinforce the narrative. Where are you going? Tell the story like it is for you. Yeah, he said me versus me for, yeah, tell it how it is for you. I think there's something beautiful about the North Node in the 7th house of Pisces. I can feel it in my body that you can have what you want, fam. The last card for these people is the World. And I really think that's the bottom line, is the World. If you follow the bottom cards, it's the 10 of Pentacles, the Empress. I think it was the Hangman in reverse at the very bottom. It's like there really is nothing holding you back. You always have control over your responses and reactions. Simple as that. We know this. This isn't news. It's just the truth. Anyway, let's move to Libra. Oh, is this the last one? Fuck, man. Damn. Well, hey, this is solid. Let me tell you. Having Scorpio in the second, for Libra, Scorpio season is all about self-reliance. It's all about doing for themselves and being stable and solid. It doesn't mean that they're not going to be social, and shit. They've had Venus in their first house for a hot second. So yeah, the Libras are always social to some degree. You guys know. But this month, and I got Libra progress too. I feel you guys. So I'm on that Libra timing too, but the Libra has Scorpio in the second, which is about your possessions and the things that you've attained, your resources and stuff like that. And you're going to see the Libra stay in their bag around this time, man. They run it up. They keep it busy. They keep it pushing. The 8th house full moon, that's a mystery in itself. I see a lot of Libras. I love to see it. The moon in your 8th house, guys. Keep in mind, this full moon hits around Wednesday. So the 8th house, this is a house that deals with our shared connections and our bonds with other people. So you'll see with that full moon in your 8th coming this week. I'm actually going to move it this time. I wasn't moving it around too much because it made it a little bit more complicated. But yeah, since we're on the last chart, you can see that's the full moon. It's going to hit on Wednesday. Like Wednesday morning for most of my Americans. So I would plan your spells accordingly, maybe even like a Tuesday night or maybe Wednesday night. Unless you want to be doing it at a crack of fucking dawn. But anyway, the 8th house, what connections do you have that are holding you back? It's as simple as that. You want freedom? Wealth and debt are two words that come to mind. The 2nd house is like the having it. The 8th house is like the not having it. House of life, house of death. Very mysterious houses. And this is Libra energy, the balancer, right? So let me tell you guys on a higher time frame thing, because again, this is Samhain. This is the full moon. This is Mercury retrograde. This is a whole season transition. You got all these change time frames. For the Libra rising, the conversation looks a lot like I want to be more stable and self reliant and less dependent on others and have less people dependent on me. This also shows up in the North Node in the sixth house, Saturn in the sixth house too. I want to serve people on a higher level. That's what it says. I don't want to be closed off for no reason. I just don't want to drain my energy. This was flowing through my mind. Now is the time to say this. The second house also is about integrity. It's about values and your ethics, the things that you stand on, your morals, your value system. So the second house is all about that. You know, what's the best return on my investment? Libra's really balancing some shit right now, guys. And you're going to see a couple things, okay? I mean, number one, big picture, Pluto in the fifth house for the Libras has them needing to make a more selfish approach toward their life period on a higher time frame level. Then you've got Mars moving into the third house, which is going to make these Libras more swift and aggressive and direct about getting what they want come the end of this week. And then Venus goes into the second house, which is beautiful, which is home. And they're really going to take a more, stable approach towards their life and their patterns, a more realistic approach too. So what that means in general, that's a whole nother conversation. But I really look at the card right here, man. It kind of looks like the Libras are given a reality check this week when it comes from the full moon in their eighth and the sun going through their second and all these other planets moving. Just a real look at yourself and what do you need? What do you want? What do you still not fucking have? And in what ways could you attain it? Are there sacrifices you have to make in order to get that done? Scorpio is talking about what are your true desires? Where do you try to go out of the way to please other people? This is actually really fucking deep, guys, but I'm a point. Look at this. It's the North Node in the sixth that's really giving this energy up. The North Node in the sixth is having the faith, Pisces, to devote to serving on a higher level, the sixth house. All right. And in order for the Libras to do that, they have to confront their South Node in the 12th house, which is in which ways have you created structures and routines that martyred and isolated you? Or you did too much, or you sacrificed your own self or potential. And it'd be like that, man. It really be like that. We're not selling ourselves short, dude. The self-esteem, I think, is really built and cultivated in the second house. So that's the message I really get for these people. I could go on and on for days. You guys know how I do this, but my intention today is not just to make a full circle through the wheel, but to ritualize the content as well. To ritualize the content. Bearing in mind that everything's energy, everything is vibration, everything is an act of magic, and our lives are one spell. So, this is a look through the solar system from our perspective on Earth through the span of a week, keeping in mind that these shifts that we experience now do create change in the world and reaction. And we're living in the result of past actions right now. Okay. So with this information in mind, we shift our focus back to really the sun as we go day by day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We watch the sun go through our charts. We stay in the spirit of Scorpio, which is about letting go, being powerful on purpose, living with intention. In order to do that, we have to really know ourselves and know our desires. All right. The Taurus full moon we're going to see this week, guys, it brings up the conversation. There's a difference between our wants and our needs. So we have to pay attention to that as well. Not every desire that we have comes from the higher will or the soul. It may come from the ego. And that reminds us that Scorpio is also about transformation. And some of our desires must be transformed. All right. And that we have the ability to change ourselves and regenerate ourselves. And some things take time. Okay. As far as the other transits, just understand Mars in Sagittarius happening basically the same day as the full moon. There's a renewed energy this week, guys. So stay excited, get excited. Life's a journey, and you're going to meet it with a lot of positivity. I'm going to do one more little spread as I wrap this up because I'm curious as well. But also know, guys, that Venus moves into Scorpio this week too. And that's going to be after the full moon. So we're on the Wednesday chart, the full moon. It's really going to be Friday. Friday's where you get Venus, and that's perfect because it's Venus Day. You're going to get Venus moving on Friday to Scorpio. She's going to be here for some weeks, guys. Same thing with Mars. These transits, they take some weeks, okay? Get excited. So Scorpio Venus, guys, it brings the depth. It brings a true pull. It's like a vacuum or a void when it comes to love. That you want something intense, you want something deep and serious. You know, this may even reflect a more possessive type of love nature too. Freaky Friday. Yeah, it's like Freaky Friday. Exactly right. I think the beautiful thing is, though, Mars rules Scorpio. So keep in mind, guys, as the planets are in Scorpio, you have to check the condition of Mars to see how it's working. And you'll have the Sagittarius Mars kicking in before Venus goes into Scorpio. So keep that in mind also. That generally speaking, Mars is about I got it wrong 3 times in a row, guys. Give me a second. Holy shit. We haven't even talked about the retrograde. Damn. We were in the pre-shadow. Fuck. Am I cooked, chat? Anyway, Mars in Sagittarius has more of an open-minded disposition, right? So that may mitigate against some of the more restricted and lower inhibited ways of Venus and Scorpio. But at the same time, you'll have to have some feeling of expansion and growth. Anyway, apart from that, man, just don't let your dreams be dreams. Take action towards them. The last card was the Ace of Cups. And the Magician in the very middle. And hey, growth is uncomfortable. Sometimes change is necessary. But you might not be in enough pain, basically, to make the change until it's absolutely fucking necessary. In the pain of being yourself, the same version is just too painful to bear, and then you make the change inevitably. So I think the suggestion is, don't wait. Take inspired action. Be intentional. It's like, this is an idea I want to share with you guys. It came from Jeffrey Green. Speaking of Scorpio, speaking of Pluto, Jeffrey, the astrologer, he has a whole school on evolutionary astrology, and he's prolific in working with Pluto. He's brought our modern understanding to where it is today, truly working with tens of thousands of people in their natal charts. So evolution is basically real. We all experience it. We're all in a constant state of becoming and changing. And he said that there's basically 2 types of evolution. There's like the cataclysmic evolution or the non-cataclysmic. It's basically that simple. Either like shit happens that forces you to change, or the change comes from within. It's really one or the other. It's all about growth. And this full moon this week, guys, it really is one of the most mysterious full moons of the year. You could call it the most powerful, but it's definitely it's a very special type of magic. Bearing in mind that the moon is ruled by Venus and the sun is going to be ruled by Pluto. Fuck, dude. This is amazing. This is a healthy full moon if we really lean into its energy and we listen to the wisdom of the body and we listen to our higher selves, if we live with intention, if we're willing to set our boundaries straight and solid with ourselves and with the world, man, real miracles are going to come through our actions. So with that being said, Fire Family, those are the transits. Those are the charts. It's Mr. Mark. David Meyer with the fire. Here, take the collective vibe higher. Always remember, guys, our sole intention is to reconcile all paradox with love and truth. I love you. And I'll see you guys relatively soon. Mars Day with Mark coming up on Tuesday. I'll see you guys in the TikTok lives. Join the Discord server. It'll be linked down below so you guys can be in the know when there's updates, whether it's content or live or anything. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.